Welcome to the show. We are live midweek Wednesday. I always say this, but Wednesdays are one of my favorite days as we're kind of, settling in from what's happened on market open Monday and Tuesday. And we're looking forward to the close at the end of the week. So we're just sort of right in the middle and we're going to follow up on what we've talked about yesterday, which was altcoins. We're kind of taking a cooler as Bitcoin dominance was starting to pump. And in the meantime, we are all eyes on the charts. We are getting prepared for the next explosive wave because when this market moves, it waits for no one. It just takes off. So on this stream, we're going to take advantage to try to position ourselves in all of the best setups to take advantage of the next wave, right? Like that's what we want to do here is prepare you for that next massive move while things are sort of consolidating and going sideways, because now is the time to do that. Now is the time to come up with a plan to crush it next week, and maybe even as soon as next week. You never know. We did give a date on yesterday's stream, approximately around August 18th, when Bitcoin dominance could really kick off for real, full-blown, just like 2021-esque altcoin season. So we're excited for that. We'll see how that plays out. But that was one of the charts that Trip gave us as a freemium here on the channel. So he lets us in on some of the coolest things that we're watching in the group. So I just want to shout out to my regulars. James, what's up? Just left the spine doctor. Oh, hope you're okay. I know that back problems are painful, but hang in there, man. You made it out alive. Super stoked. Yeah. I mean, what a time to be alive indeed. Good morning, 808 Mimi's. Greetings, Christina. Realize Bear. You know it. Skull. Good afternoon. Andrew, good morning. Okay. Having coffee and watching on my TV today. Ooh, on the big screen. I did have a brand new webcam that I set up, but I did a podcast right before this and it was a little bit laggy. So yeah, I'll get that going for the next stream. We want to make these better and better as we gear up toward mega altcoin season, and it's going to be cooking. So yeah, looking forward to hearing about Flare. Yeah, Andrew, actually, my whole team is working on a really in-depth presentation on Flare. So actually, I'm going to hold off on that until I can sort of present that with the visuals, because you're just absolutely going to love it. And I can explain to you how, break it down a little bit better with that. So we might have to hold off on that for tomorrow's stream or Friday stream. But yeah, staking is wild on Flare right now. I mean, I won't give it all away, but that's going to be a special episode. So yeah, please like the stream, share if you're feeling good this Wednesday and ready to rock and roll. Al-Munin, hello. Welcome, guys. I'm going to add these comments to the screen so we can all tune in from all different places, right? We're global and we're also borderless online. We've got a lot of different sites that we're streaming to. So guys, full of energy. Man, I've just been studying these charts with Trip. We've been looking at all the coins and we wanted to bring you some of the best setups primed to buy during the dip. That's why you're all here, right? You want to know, how do we take advantage of this? How do we position ourselves? You are hearing from me and from Trip and from this channel and Capital Mindset what you don't see in the mainstream news, and you're hearing it first. If you've heard it on the mainstream news, it's probably too late. So that's your Doge coins and all of the biggest ones that gets mainstream excited. We're already there. Okay. So that's what this stream is going to be about. I'll give them away. They're already in the title. So we're going to do Theta. You Theta gang, let me know if you're in there. Cardano, Suie, BNB, and Doge. I think I got them all. If I'm missing one, let me know. But yeah, that's it. We'll take some requests too on the stream, but that's quite a few to focus on. So tuning in from UK, looking forward to every session. Oh, I mean, we love to have you. Love to have you. Happy days ahead. Oh, that's right. I mean, guys, just manifest. I know that's also sort of cliche, but just think about where you want to be. And in little as now until the next 6 months, half a year, your entire life could change. So just think about that and really work hard toward getting toward your goals. I mean, you can do it. It is possible now, right now at this moment in time. And that's super cool. Let's go Theta from 58 cents to $1 in a month. Yeah, Theta is cooking. Theta is really looking good. Actually, okay, I'm just going to give away. I just finished a podcast with Mark, who's the co-founder of Aether, because I'm on the board of the Secret Network. And I think we discussed once on this channel on the lives not too long ago that privacy and that sort of thing, and AI, and how do we sort of treat AI in a proper way so that our data is stored properly so that we do things right this time, right? That's going to be a huge narrative. And Secret is one of those tokens. We actually caught it really early in the group, and it did a big move the first time, all the way up to like 78 cents, I believe, sitting around 20 cents now. So I did a podcast with Mark, who also has the ATH ticker. So I told him I'd send him a few ATH bottles, just because we have a common interest there. But he actually, for you Theta fans, was talking about how Aether provides GPU to Theta, and that he believes big in what Theta is doing, and that it's really impressive. So that's great validation, right? Aether is one of my biggest bags. Well, realized, Barry, you're going to have to tune in to that podcast, because he really breaks it down as to why it's, so monumental. And actually, it's been a while since I followed up with Aether, and I got the scoop today. So I think I'll be letting the group listen to that first. Our private group, the Capital Mindset. So of course, I got to remind you, the link is in the description below. You get a 10% off for joining through the Crypto Making community. And we would absolutely love to have you for this next leg, and teach you how to have these tools to reach your goals. I want to know more about your goals too. We talk a lot about strategy on this show. We are going to plan just one video all about strategy, long-term investing, trading, leverage trading, all of that, all of the best traders, what their sort of goals are and their strategies. Okay. So let us know what yours are. And without further ado, I am going to get right into it. Okay. We've got news to cover, but first off, Arthur Hayes. He's one of my favorite guys in the sector. He's always got something to say, and he's got really just intelligent insights, right? Generally. So I want to just pop up here what he said recently. The latest, Arthur Hayes targets Bitcoin hit 250,000 and Ethereum 10,000 by end of year. Do you guys know how close end of year is? It's literally like 6 months away, less than 6 months away. Okay. We are right there. And imagine if these two assets are going to do this, what are the altcoins going to do? Right? This is phenomenal. So he says, he always says that Trump's wartime economic policies create credit growth that flows into crypto, with stablecoin issuers buying T-bills to finance government deficits. There's a lot to unpack in that sentence there, but he's always been talking about like yield curve control and looking ahead into the future as to like what the current macroeconomic state is going to lead to. And he's usually he's got great insight. Let's just put it like that. It's not that it's even accurate. It's just, I feel like, the right way to think about things, right? Just previously, this past May, he said,
maybe it will happen. It will happen.
Sorry, guys. Just previously, this past May, he actually said, and I'm going to pop this up onto the stage first, which is what I meant to do. He predicted 150 to 200K Bitcoin by July, but 1 million Bitcoin by 2026 to 2027. And this guy isn't like a sensational guy. Like, I'm just going to get out there and throw these crazy numbers out there. He's got like reasoning behind that. So let's actually have a listen real quick, just to set the tone as to why he believes that that's even possible. Okay, here we go.
Oh, I mean, I don't think maybe it will happen. It will happen, but when, right? I want to, just because we're talking about $1 million Bitcoin, I want to get down to a more when level of like the next year. But just because we're talking about, when do you think $1 million Bitcoin could be realistic?
I think that we're going to have a crack up boom in sort of like 2026, 2027 time period. I think if we're going to have $1 million Bitcoin, that's when it's going to really manifest itself.
What's your timelines right now? Do you think that we could see a short-term little bull market here through the summer? Do you think everyone sells in May and goes away for the summer?
I think we can go, we go through 110,000, and then so we sort of run until in the 150 to $200,000 range. I think that could happen between now and sort of like early July of this year. And then I think sort of the next decent correction, and that maybe is a 15 to 30% correction, I don't know, will be in August.
Okay. So interesting indeed. He's pretty spot on about the July part. Will we have a correction in August? We'll see. But $1 million Bitcoin in 2026 to 2027 would sort of coincide with our theory of these cycles just changing, right? And just acting more like an ETF or an institutionalized asset that's up and to the right, like the stock market, right? So I just want to shout out a few other people. Chris, lots of love to you. Let's see here. Neen tuning in from UK. Watchman, let's go. Theta from 58 cents. Oh, I had to repeat that because I just love that. Aether. Then we've got Raw Food Rider. Do you like Theta's tea drop? Supposedly a rebrand is coming. Yes, I heard a rebrand was coming from the Digital Dave community, Crazy for Cryptos. A shout out to him that they're just working a lot with sports teams, and they're going to do something completely different with that. So that could be truly a moonbag, ultra low cap gem pick for sure. T Fuel is really what I think is going to cook this cycle, because when Theta pumps, T Fuel pumps almost, even harder. It's a smaller cap coin. It's the gas, but it's also going to do a lot more, according to a lot of sources, including Mitch himself. You ready for it? You ready for this one? Let's go. You think you're going to like it? By the time we're done with Theta Network, T Fuel will be as rare as GPUs. So, take that for what it's worth, but it sounds like they're working on rebranding what T Fuel is and what it's used for in the ecosystem as well. So big things coming for Theta. And I'm just going to read off a little bit of news, then set the tone and pass the mic to Trip, that we're going to go over the 5 top coins. Well, 5 of the top coins. We're going over coins every day, guys. We just want to find the absolute best setups to buy the freaking dip, because it's buy the dip season and we're really excited. So just on a few pieces of news. Okay, Jack Dorsey's Square to allow merchants to accept Bitcoin starting today. So this was yesterday. That's big. When they start turning that on again, and Stripe and all that, we're really starting to reach like full-fledged bull run mania, or just right around the corner. The SEC approves the conversion of Bitwise 10 crypto index funds into an ETF holding the following cryptos: Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, Sol, ADA, Suie, Litecoin, DOT, Link, and AVAX. AVAX is an interesting one that it's on that list. I think it could end up surprising a lot of people. President Trump announces the largest deal ever made with Japan, investing $550 billion into the United States, and U.S. getting 90% of the profits. We'll talk about the art of the deal, right? I mean, if there's something that Trump's good at, it's crafting deals and negotiation tactics. BNB reaches the new all-time high, which is one of the coins we are going to cover on this stream. I actually think that BNB is a sleeper for a lot of people, because it's not one of those you think of like long-term holdings, or this one could revolutionize the industry, but actually it's just been steadily tracking up and to the right. And I think CZ has a grand vision, even though he's no longer, with Binance. I mean, obviously he was in the driving seat and the driving force. So I think they're going to continue to reinvent themselves and really stay relevant throughout the period of time. And next up, Elon Musk says Tesla's AI-powered humanoid robot Optimus will bring the food to your car next year. This coincides with Cathie Wood, ARK Invest Big Ideas report that I talked about, where like in the next 5 years, our entire lives are going to be completely disrupted. And the biggest technologies doing so are AI, robotics, and crypto, period, hands down. That's it. We're going to have walking robot humanoids in our house within the next 5 years. So picture that. And when that starts to become a reality in your mind, the $1 million Bitcoin isn't far off, right? If we're going to have life change that drastically in such a way, imagine productivity, imagine what that will do to inflation, lower inflation, raise job wages. I mean, it's just going to do so much to our economy. So that really does set the tone for what we're looking at, and why brilliant minds like Arthur Hayes are seeing that as a reality, right? The $1 million Bitcoin sooner rather than later. So yeah. US and EU close to finalizing a 15% tariff deal. I am here in the Europe, so that would make a difference. Anyway, guys, that's the news for today. I just wanted to catch you up to speed. Buy T Fuel. Yes, buy T Fuel, says Magnus. Didi, $1 million Bitcoin. Let's go. Yeah, guys, the goal is to stack those sats, man. We are in the process of forming an interesting partnership with one of the companies that will allow you to store Bitcoin in your IRA and trade it, and buy it and sell it within that IRA tax-free. You really need to start optimizing your wealth and planning for the future. And that's what I want to teach as well in the Capital Mindset, along with our analysts and all of our top investors. And there's that just, what do we do after we make this money that we want to make? How do we maximize that, right? And that's why I discussed the loan yesterday, the crypto-backed loan that JP Morgan was excited about. So we really need to stay on top of that part as well. Let's go. Myrtle Beach, Gary, what's up? Sorry, I'm late. No worries. We're just getting started. Random share, but I live in SoCal, says Andrew, and we'll be going to the Tesla Diner. Tesla diner. I'll definitely post some content about it. I wish I could have gone to the soft opening when the bots were there. Oh my goodness. That is so cool. Please do share some content. I mean, we must see that. That is the future. I wish we had a Tesla diner out here. I'm usually in SoCal, or that's where I'm from anyway. I would love to visit that. Okay, we're asking about sections in Myrtle Beach to buy. And more importantly, can you use your Bitcoin as collateral to buy those homes? Woke up late this morning, says Andrew, just a correction. Haven't looked at any news or anything. This is just what we were talking about yesterday, guys. Bitcoin dominance is starting to pump. Altcoins are taking a breather. And you better be thinking about what you're going to do during this dip, where you're going to average in on, key levels of support and retracements that we're going to discuss today with Trip so that you'll be in the know. And then Real Ice Bear says, nope, no autonomous AI robots walking around my house. No. What about Megan? Have you guys seen that movie? Like, I thought that was so creepy, the first one that came out, and now it's Megan 2. I haven't seen number 2, but that is a scary reality, right? That AI becomes autonomous and then just starts being like, well, why do I need humans? Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth on that. Hi from New Zealand, ADA, HBAR, and FET in my portfolio and looking good. You guys are awesome. You're awesome. Graham, I'm glad you made the stream. We will be talking about ADA today. ADA will just, ADA. I'm so excited for Cardano. I think it's the one I'm most excited about. And I always have been. It was my very first bigger investment in the space. And so I've been following it closely, obviously talking to Charles Hoskinson and team. And yeah, don't watch Megan 2. Is it scary, Andrew? Does she become like an ultra mega? Like, is that what's maybe if we are going to be going into autonomous era where AI is just sort of like really embedded in our lives, we don't want to watch that movie, right? I'm saving you 2 hours. Okay. All right. Well, maybe we'll just have to get the recap from you and the diner. I want to see the diner footage, the Tesla diner. Yeah, we love FET. FET was a real big runner in the last AI run up, and you better believe they're going to go again. And after talking to the Aether co-founder in a podcast I just recorded today, I'm very excited for Aether as well. And it's not Aether versus Theta. They're all working together. Aether is providing GPU to Theta. So keep that in mind. Yeah, Crypto Megan is way better. Well, thanks, man. Thanks, Realize Bear. Maybe this is just an AI, right? Maybe this is just my deep fake talking to you here. No, that's a scary reality when that becomes true. But Gary, Southern End. So he's given, we're giving advice on where to buy in Myrtle Beach. I just got to visit in general. I think that would be a beautiful place to go and check out. So anyway, we are global. So cheers to all you guys for tuning in this fine Wednesday morning, afternoon, evening, depending where you are in the world. And with that, I'm just going to do one more thing to get you in the right headspace. And that is here. All right. So this image is really powerful. This is a guy that's been mining and has been working so hard. Maybe he round tripped a lot of his coins that he bought last year with his hard-earned money, and he's just given up. He's just said, no, it's never going to happen. He's heard too many YouTubers say that altcoin season isn't coming, and he's turning around and leaving those diamonds there, which are replaced with your Thetas and your ADAs and your XRPs. And that's not what we're going to do. Don't fumble the ball. I think, I forgot who said it yesterday, but no fumbling allowed. Okay. Keep your eyes on the prize. Stay focused. Big things are coming. All right. So yeah. On that note, I'm going to pull Trip up to the stage, and we are going to get into the juice of the episode. Trip, how you doing today?
Hey, Megan. Thank you. Doing pretty good today.
Yeah. What do you think about everything? I mean, yesterday we were talking about Bitcoin dominance. It's starting to pump a little bit. Bitcoin more or less still within this range here. I know you're going to give us an update on that today, but yeah, it looks like Total 3 is cooling off, and we could potentially be seeing some of those important retests on some of the coins we've been looking to buy.
Right. Yeah. So we have to see the dominance chart today for an update. As you can see my screen, if you want to pull it up yet.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So yeah, yesterday we were talking about the oversold RSI on the 1 day for Bitcoin dominance, and we were expecting that there could be a bounce coming. So this is happening right now. We're getting that bounce. You can see this big green candle on the daily that showed up so far. And while this has been happening, the altcoins have been pulling back. So it's not a big surprise. We were expecting something like this. When I saw dominance coming down to these oversold levels, and we'd already broken below the oversold level at about 30 or so, that's when I started moving my stops up. I closed a couple of positions, and really I'm just waiting to get another entry again on something else down the road. It could be in the next couple of days, maybe today, depends on how dominance keeps reacting here and how Bitcoin performs in comparison. But really, it's just we need to see dominance have a bearish retest potentially of either this red resistance zone, you could call it, and the 200 MA. So the bearish scenario is still kind of in play. If we do get that bearish retest, we're expecting more downside. Over here on the weekly chart, though, we did get that bounce on the 50 MA as well. So this is another level that we need to see break, and this yellow trend line break as well to continue to the downside even further. So there's a couple things we need to keep in mind. I don't want to jump into anything too soon, but we do have a couple charts we're going to go over to focus on for retests later in the video.
Oh, fantastic. This is a great update. And I would like to go over too, I think a lot of people have been asking, what levels should we buy at? We're going to go over important retracement levels. And, like people don't want to buy in too soon. So I think maybe we can go over a little bit of strategy on that trip as we get through the episode. And then also trading, like Luyanda, from a third world country, I can only spare $50 per month in my alts. I may not make a lot this cycle, but I'll DCA all the way to 2030. Your live streams make a difference. Well, first of all, thank you so much for telling us that. We really appreciate that. And that means a lot. And, DCAing is fantastic. Also, you can really change your life with trading and trading skills as well. Right, Trip? I mean, what would you say on that?
Well, yeah, like dollar cost averaging is really the way to go, just because it allows you chances to buy the dips. And usually people who are trying to put a bunch of money in the market at once, they end up buying all in one place. And then the market does some chaotic movements and it ends up going further down than you expected. So if you had money on the side, then you have that buying opportunity to get back in. So you're really just trying to scale into a trade over a long period of time and buying those dips. So if you do jump in at once, you don't get that opportunity as other people do.
Right. So Luyanda, just keep going. Any amount makes a difference. I mean, we are just still at the beginning of this movement, and you're right to just keep on dollar cost averaging, right? Like that is the best and easiest tried and true strategy. And throughout the years can make a massive difference. I mean, Bitcoin at one point was worth $10, $100, right? Like that's how this goes when we see that exponential growth. So yeah, just cheers to you for keeping going. You're not the guy who turned away from the diamonds. So yeah, let's get into Bitcoin now.
Yeah, Bitcoin 2 hours. So yesterday we had a triangle drawn. I'll put this back in. And then I actually made an update for the group that we were losing volume in this area. So you can see this little dip down below. The volume was headed lower. I don't know if I can zoom in much on the volume, but I'll try. Maybe here we go. So just in this little area, you can see the volume was decreasing while Bitcoin was rising. So this is one of our signals that we pay attention to when you're trying to determine the strength of the trend. So decreasing volume on increasing price is a bearish idea. So we gave that warning out in the group, and then I changed the whole pattern. I said, we're going to get rid of this triangle. We're going to focus on a double bottom idea at the time. And then still the same thing. Once it started to play out that bearish idea with that low volume pump, now we're just considering this whole thing just to be a sideways range at this point. There really isn't a discernible pattern quite yet. It really just looks like it's moving just sideways. The best thing that I could see coming potentially is maybe this turns into an inverse head and shoulders of some kind where you get three bottoms instead of a double bottom. But right now, it's still too early quite to tell. Your key level to hold, though, is around 116,000.3. And the resistance that we want to see break is this high over here at around 120,000.6. So there's still some work Bitcoin needs to do. I wouldn't doubt that it ranges for a little longer still. I just don't see anything too exciting happening as far as Bitcoin goes. But if we zoom out to the weekly chart again, you got to remember that this weekly retest of this long-term trend line is still in play. So because it's a weekly chart, that means every single one of these candles takes a week to form. So if we get a couple of more candles here, that's still 2 more weeks that we have to wait. So it's, a little bit of a waiting game right now. I think it's just a little too early to call a direction. We just need to make sure that this trend line is holding at least in the short term.
Right. And these consolidations and sort of retracement periods, they're actually a breath of fresh air, guys, because we can catch up, we can recalibrate, we can make plans, we can set levels, and we can get ready to go again. It's kind of like a breather room to be able to strategize before the next move. So these are sort of, I enjoy these periods as well because I can then reset and get ready for what's coming next instead of, sometimes it gets a little bit stressful when when things are popping off. So this is a good time to be tuning in right now.
Right. Yeah. 100%. So the trades that I'm looking at next are going to be bigger trades than the ones I've had, just because I'm compounding. I started with a base amount, you could say, and I've been trying to double that base amount every time I get into another trade. So you could say that I started with 1,000 and I turned it into 2. Now I'm trying to turn that 2 into 4, and then that 4 into 8, and 8 into 16, and so on. So when these pullbacks happen, I'm actually excited about them. It's fitting my plan accordingly. And after you've been through a few bull runs, you learn that that's really the best way to capitalize on the most amount of profits you can make in a bull run. If you're just sitting at a trade and you bought at one price, you're taking profit months or maybe a year later, it might be a great trade. You could make 4 to 800, maybe 10x on your trade, but doing that compounding can go from 10x to 20 to 30 to 40. So it's definitely a lot bigger numbers when you start compounding over time instead.
Right. And I just ran this through ChatGPT because we stopped at 16,000, but doubling 1,000, for example, 8 times would yield $256,000. It goes fast. The power of compounding is real, and it's hard to envision, right? Because at some point it's just like, how did we get there? I mean, it's really crazy. So I want to hear more about your guys' goals. I'm serious about this. Are you trading? Are you investing? Have you set a dollar amount as a goal? Like, how do you guys go about your strategy? I'd be interested to know, because, we'll incorporate some of that into our strategy video. But yeah, Trip's strategy is simple and powerful. It's like waiting for this particular strategy, from what I understand, Trip, for those excellent trades, right? And they're not often that you make those kind of trades. They don't come around, like you might scalp, or you might, play the ranges, but these are the bigger trades.
Yeah, like I have a separate account that I'm trading just normally, like excuse me, like I'm buying on support to make a trade. I'm buying a breakout of a pattern, for example. But my other trades that I do the compounding on, it's pretty much like one trade a month, and then I sit on the side and wait until that next trade next month, and the next month, and the next month. So I'm planning a long-term strategy that's going to pay off in the end because of the patience. And I actually made a bunch of posts in our trading group just last night, and on our Twitter page too. Where really it's more important to be sitting on the sides and learning to be patient than it is trying to jump into a trade every single day. I've had so many attempts where I've tried to go from one trade where you take a bunch of profits, and then within the next hour, you're trying to jump into something else. And usually the market's already in a cool down mode because the whole thing moves as like a single unit, essentially. There's always some outliers that'll take off at random times. But when you're talking about the large caps, they usually all make a move at the same time. They all cool down at the same time, and then they all reset around the same time. So if
Right.
you can jump from those, from the dips to the dip to the dip, instead of trying to maximize every peak and jump into another trade right away, that's really where you're going to have the most profits in the market.
Right. And that makes a lot of sense. And it's actually a little bit less stressful that way. So that's good. I want to go to Mimi's here, 808 Mimi's. She said, I'm trying to invest in trade, but I have low capital. I'd love to retire soon. Well, then I hope that it impacted you when I spelled that out about the $1,000. You can put 500 there. You can put 100 there. Right. But that power of compounding is very, very real. And it can happen, quicker potentially than dollar cost averaging if your skills are there and you know what you're doing and you have the right mentors, right? So I think it's great that you have a long-term bag that you're investing in dollar cost averaging too. But if you really are wanting to learn how to trade and execute on these sort of strategies, you don't have to have a lot of capital to make a difference in your life, a pretty big difference in your life potentially. So Trip, she wants to know if you post all your trades in the group.
All of my trades, I try to. It just really depends on schedule. So if I'm up at a different time than the rest of the group, we have an international group, right? So I have to be posting setups for everybody all over the globe at all different times of the day. And there's just no way that I can be in every single one of those trades. But yeah, I post the ones that I'm watching. I might not post the ones that I'm in on time, and I might get that entry at a different time of the day, just again, according to my schedule. But yeah, I have so many charts set up. The way my trading view is set up is that I don't know if I can show you here. Like you can separate your chart into 3, you can separate it into 6, you can separate it into 8, right? So you get all these different charts set up, and I have about 40 tabs with 8 charts on them each. So like I'm watching a bunch of stuff at all times, and whether or not I'm in the trade, it's still something that I'm watching to post in the group. So yeah, I'm pretty open about what I am trading though, and I often do post something that I'm in or something that I took profit on as much as I can, because I'm pretty open about it.
Yeah, and actually, sometimes it's funny, but sometimes us in the group will get better entries than Trip. I mean, not often, but it happens because he posts so many charts that if he's sleeping, but we're awake on the other side of the world, we're already in that trade because he posted that chart. So he's looking at all of these charts, right? But you can't be in everything all of the time. So what he's doing is filtering through and posting the absolute best setups, and we all have access to them. That's it. Right. So.
Right. Yeah, most of the time too, a lot of the setups that are posted are setting alerts on the
Mhm.
resistance levels of the patterns. So you're really just waiting for the trade to come to you. So if I post it, it's not always a buy right now. It's a have an alert set for this pattern, and then when that alert goes off, then you can trade it. Maybe you'll have just closed something else, and then this one's starting to break out in the best case scenario. So dominance has to be in your favor to be able to jump from swing to swing, from trade to trade like that. But really setting alerts is going to help you the most, just because you're going to lose track of something. So if you don't set alerts, you're going to miss something and hate yourself later for it. So
Yeah, and Trip will say, "Hey, something's moving. Keep an eye on it." Or, he's very open about all that, and he'll say, "I just got into this, or I closed this." We're all doing it together, but we're all on different schedules, right? So what they assure to do is to post all of the best setups in the trading group. So in the leverage group, we've got so many different groups where we talk about different ideas. A Bitcoin channel only, right? And you can have access to all of those. So it's really valuable information. And Megan here says, "I really love and appreciate the let the trade come to you mentality." Oh, absolutely. It's so easy to get yourself stressed out about small movements and trying to force things because you think you need to be in. But then you look at your results over time and it's like, man, if I would have just waited for a great trade, an excellent trade, instead of a decent or good, just good trade, maybe you would have made more money over time, right? Like, so that letting the trade come to you is a real thing. DC the dude, Theta me soon. Oh, you need it. You need it. I knew it. We're going to get to Theta, T-Fuel too. We did an update on T-Fuel earlier, but we might include that in today's stream just because they're in the same ecosystem. James, just hearing Tripp's calmness shows how he has mastered his emotions. Absolutely. That is one of the most important things, is to stay cool, calm, and collected and just have a plan. And you'll start to really understand how the market ebbs and flows. You'll get the feel for it. You'll get better at it as time goes on, and especially with a mentor like Tripp. Emotionless trading is the key to success as a trader and investor. 100%. And patience. I would agree with you, James.
yeah, definitely. Those are very good points to make. Being patient is a hard thing to do, just because when you get that high off of making a good trade, you don't want that feeling to end. So you usually try to just jump into something else so you can stay on that level. But the best part is taking a break and then coming back down, and then you get to ride that feeling up again when you find that next big trade. So it's a lot of it is emotion. There's a lot of excitement to it. But if you don't have control over it, then it can take over and lead to impulsive decisions that can often lead to losses.
Right. Yeah. So important to keep that in check and use your skills, when those trades come to you and when the time is right. So, yes, sir. Let's see.
Yep.
Let's update total 3 now. What are we looking at?
Yeah, total 3. So we were watching this breakout of this cup and handle. It seems to have played out most of the moves so far. As dominance started to pump, we got a rejection at this resistance. I've actually adjusted this just a little bit. It's more so lining up with the tops of these candle bodies, and there's some wicks back here as well. So we're going to call this our resistance level to pay attention to. And there is a chance that we could come back down to this local support level. I mean, what I've been talking about in the group often is this mirrored effect, right? So usually what's happening is the swing where you get a resistance from has to do with something on the left side. So if you pay more attention to what the left side did, it also started to come down and test the support, not once, but twice, and then it took off again. So we could expect the same sort of thing happening, where you get another move down to support, you get a quick bounce, and then you'd see a double bottom here for the next move higher. So there's definitely some things to pay attention to. This is only a daily chart, so it might take, we're watching dominance do what it's doing on the weekly chart. And this is a 1-day chart for total 3. So in that week, maybe 2 weeks worth, that's when we could see that structure forming down here if we get that pullback.
Wow, that's a really valuable tip that Trip is giving right here. That mirror sort of way of looking at things has been really helpful with a lot of the different coins and trades lately. And Trip's been posting all about that in the group. And I find that to be a really interesting concept that we really get into there. So just another tool to have in your toolbox. And so potential pullback and support entry if we get it at that $934 billion mark.
Right. And again, everything changes if we get another pullback on dominance, like we were talking about back here. If you do get a rejection here at this level, at the 200 MA and at this red resistance zone at 62%, then that would change the idea again for total 3. We'd be looking for a break higher still. It could continue higher from here. But right now, when it's in the middle of a range, this is the key thing that I'm trying to avoid. I try not to enter a trade when we're right in the middle of a range. I want to either enter on support or I want to enter on the breakout. And when you're buying a breakout, really you're buying the break of a new support level, right? So this will become support eventually, just like this level could become support as it was previous resistance when we were below it. So you're always buying a support entry. Buying a breakout is buying a newly created support. You're looking for an SR flip. SR just stands for support and resistance. So you're flipping resistance into support. So I would rather buy on this support or on the SR flip support if I'm looking for my entries.
Right. No, that's really good advice. So you just sort of let the market do its thing, and then you act accordingly, right? So,
Right.
yeah.
The next one, we can jump right into Theta now, I think. I'm
All
still
right. Theta
watching.
me. Theta me, says DC the dude. We're gonna theta you now. Let's go.
Right. I'm watching Bitcoin on my side screen as well. So if I seem a little distracted, that's why. I just want to keep a close eye on what Bitcoin's doing. But for now, total or Theta on the 1 day, we had a rejection at this local resistance that we had drawn. This is right at $1. So we nicked $1 just recently on the 21st of July, it looks like. And now we're getting a bit of a pullback. And it's not a big surprise here. We've seen a lot of rejections. Well, actually, these were support bounces previously. So now those support bounces are turning into resistance, just like an SR flip, but in reverse, right? They were support, and now they're turning into resistance. So there's a chance that we could have another pullback down here, maybe to the 50 MA. And again, that's more of the mirrored idea. So you had this double bottom to the top. And if you go the other direction, when we got to the top back here, basically you're going from right to left, or sorry, from the center to the right if you're going this way, and then you're looking from the center to the left if you're going this way. So this little flag could be something we see forming on Theta over here. So that pullback idea that we were talking about, that could land on the 50 MA, and then you'd be kind of pinched between the 200 and the 50, and then it's going to have to really choose a direction from that point. But same thing, just like total 3, if dominance were to bounce here, then we could see altcoins just take off immediately and not have to do this extended pullback during this time. So Theta still looks good. I think there's a chance where you can get another DCA entry if you do get a pullback, but really you'd want to have an alert set at $1 and just let your alert tell you when Theta's at $1 again. And if you're looking for a breakout entry, then you're just waiting for that break above $1.
Wow, that makes it really simple to understand the levels to watch, guys. I'm loving this mirror concept as just a tool to add to the toolbox. Let me know in the comments if you understand what he means by that. But it really is a powerful tool to like help you get an idea of what could happen next and pair that with other indicators. DGen Brian, I am your exit liquidity, says dopamine. Yeah, I think a lot of this space is addicted to those dopamine hits when you're ready for things to pop. And you know what? We've earned it. We've been really just years in the bear market and stuff, planning for this moment, right? And essentially it's going to carry on for the next foreseeable future as we potentially change how the cycles act, and we go more into like a up into the right cycle, extended cycle. But we'll see. My point is these next 4 to 6 months are going to be life-changing potentially. So just keep at it, guys. Keep at it. So that's your daily dose of Theta.
Right. The next one we can look at is ADA. So we had a break above this double bottom neckline, and now it's also pulling back as dominance is going up, and Bitcoin has been pulling back a little bit on the smaller time frames as well. So we're hoping that this turns into a big wick, and then we can hold this support. For now, though, it does look like we're starting to push below, and this retest does seem like it's failing so far. So we're going to have to pay attention to see if we get a bounce in this area and maybe some structure forming. This is a 12-hour chart, so we have a long time. I think there's about almost 7 hours still for this candle to finish building, and a lot can happen in that time. If Bitcoin were to bounce all of a sudden, then I'm assuming ADA would follow just the same. Really, we're just trying to hold this neckline at least above this gray support zone that we have here. So that's between about 80 cents and about 84, 85 cents or so. So I would consider this whole range support, but I give it some time to figure itself out. And that's what we were saying before too. You don't want to jump in too soon. It could continue lower still from here. We don't have a ton of structure, even on the smaller time frames. If we zoom in, this will probably just look like it's just rolling over. And that's pretty much all we can see at this point. So if, for example, if we had like a nice falling wedge here, that would be a great idea, but it seems to be not really following into a wedge at this point. If I were to draw, I like channels, parallel channels. So if I were to draw one here, you can see we've already busted through the bottom. So it kind of invalidates that idea. The only other thing that we could see from here at this point is maybe we get a double bottom structure forming. So there's a couple of ideas we need to pay attention to, but right now it's more about just waiting to see those bounces and then seeing if we get those higher lows. So if you look back here, I'll zoom in a little bit. After ADA initially broke above this level the first time back here on the 18th of July. It had that first rollover and made a low. And then when it crawled back up, it made a higher low. And after that higher low was formed, then we got that move to the upside. So over here, it's the same thing. If we get this low put in somewhere and we get a bounce, then we're looking for it to roll back over and then have another higher low potentially. And that would be a buy signal. So right now, it's just in the early stages. We don't quite have that bounce yet, but these are things you want to pay attention to. This is what I pay attention to when I'm looking to enter into a trade. When you're in an uptrend already on the higher time frames on all of these altcoins, buying the higher low swings is one of the best strategies that you can do. It just takes a little patience, and you don't want to just buy the first dip. You want to buy the higher low second dip if it happens.
Okay, so you don't want to try to catch a falling knife as it's going now. You want to wait for the swing and then a retest of support.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you can scale in. So if you wanted to enter a little bit of your position, that could be okay too. That's when you'd rely on your indicators. So down here, when you look at the 1 hour, we've already hit oversold. And technically, there's bullish divergence starting to form. So this is the other idea that you could add, where if you don't get, or if you wanted to try to catch that bottom, this is how you would go about it. You want to look for oversold conditions with some bullish divergence. We've talked about that many times in the stream, and it's one of our main trading strategies in the group when you're buying a dip is wait for the oversold conditions plus bullish divergence, and this will increase your chances of that trade playing out in your favor.
Right. Yeah, that is one of the North Stars, right, of this trading group and a way to sort of gauge entries among other indicators, right? So we've got a few comments going on here. Trying to get the XRP head and shoulders for the bottom. Maybe we'll have a look at XRP briefly at the end here. 315, around 315. Richard says he's already allocated. Richard, are you trading or are you investing long-term, DCAing? Might put ADA around 77 cents, 75 to 77. Question for Trip.
75 to 77 cents for ADA?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can take a look. Let's go back out to our 12-hour chart. I think okay, so you're talking about this level. That's near the 200 MA on the 1 day. So yeah, potentially you could get a pullback that deep. I'm just looking at the previous structure here. That could be an entry for sure. But again, you'd want to follow the same kind of rules. You want to see some divergence, maybe wait for those oversold conditions still. If that were to come down to the 200 MA on this 12-hour chart, that might put this into those oversold conditions just the same. So that could be another idea that you want to pay attention to.
Right. And Trip is keeping us updated in real time along with the other admins on all of those market conditions and what we need to look for and alerts and all of that so that you don't have to do that on your own. So that is also one of the benefits of the trading group. Yeah, now is the time, guys. If you want to learn how to do this stuff, if you want to stay updated consistently, what we've been trying to do is come to you every single day, Monday through Friday, to give you updates. But the market trades 24/7, so that's what the members have access to. And the link is in the description below with a 10% off code for the Crypto Megan community. So yeah. Then I have a question for Trip again. Are you a fib guy or are you wave guy at all?
You mean like Elliott wave?
Yeah.
I assume.
Mhm.
I do a little bit of everything. I'm not a professional Elliott wave trader, just because it really annoys me trying to count all of the waves. I find it very confusing sometimes, and it can be very subjective. So if you're looking at the primary, intermediate, and minor trends, and you're trying to keep track of all the different Elliott waves on all 3 different trends, it can be wildly confusing, and it can just, I don't know, it's just a pain sometimes to try to follow it all. I'm sure there's some people that are more adept at doing something like that or trading the Elliott wave formula. For me, though, it just seems like a pain trying to label everything and try to follow it all. So that's why I've really fallen back on the things that I know work, like those oversold conditions with bullish divergence and using multiple time frames to nail those entries. Essentially, you're still doing Elliott wave, but you're not as strict as like this wave must meet this level and pull back to this level for it to be a perfect wave. It just seems very, I don't know, a little too specific. And I don't think crypto is that specific. I've seen many scenarios where people call this an Elliott impulse wave, but it kind of breaks a couple of rules. And then some people say, oh, it doesn't really matter. So there's a lot of flexibility, and some people are too strict. So within that being too flexible and being too strict area, I find it hard to trade that consistently, just because it seems like it's very subjective, like I was saying.
Right. So fibs, on the other hand, are a big part of the toolbox. And so Trip gives a lot of those strategies in the group as well. So that's definitely something to tune into. We've done a lot of cool things with fibs, Trip. So yes, you should definitely tune in there. Let's see here. What's your opinion for the dip today? Well, Steven, that's sort of what we're going over now, is looking at Bitcoin dominance and levels on these top 5 altcoins that we've included for this stream, and just sort of like how to play this, right? So everyone wants to know, when is the time to buy? Do I jump in now? Do I wait for lower? And Trip was explaining, one of the things he said that I think was great is, wherever it levels off at, wherever we sort of start to like balance out at, after that first swing up, pay attention to where it retests and where it resettles, right? Trip, more or less, that's what she said. I don't know if you have anything to add to it, but I thought that was a really good advice for people who are kind of worried about, like, if I don't get in now, am I going to miss it? Is it going to go lower? And takes that sort of stress away. Yeah, right. So did you want to add something to that?
Yeah, just about scaling in. So if you feel the need that you want to buy the dip, I mean, you're more than welcome to do it. I wouldn't just put your whole position in there and hoping that you get a bounce where you've put your entry. So if I had $1,000, for example, I might buy $100 worth and then wait a bit. So it could be 3 to 4 hours, and then I buy another $100 worth. Maybe I have to wait until the next day before I start adding more to that position, but it also feeds the FOMO a little bit. So if you do get that sudden bounce, at least you have a partial position in. You might not get the whole thing, but at least you got a little bit in there, and then you can start focusing on buying into the uptrend. So you look for breaks above the resistance. You want to see pullbacks to the support if you're getting the breakouts and then a pullback. There's a whole bunch of different ways to enter into a trade, but the number one thing that I don't try to do is try to put all my money in one place at one time.
Right. Yes. And I see here, DJ and Brian says Rand savaged, Rand from Crypto Banter, savaged ADA today. What did he do? What did he say? We want to know. What did he say about ADA? What was the problem there? What's going on? There's a lot of controversy around ADA all the time. I know Alex Becker is always hating on the ADA community, but he likes the coin. Anyway, guys, that's why in this stream, we're just trying to bring it to you as is, with as little emotion as possible, and more just like, what do the charts say? Right. So let's see here. Personally, I've been saying buy now and sell ADA at $3. Yeah, I mean, $3 was one of the top of the cycle. Last cycle, just about, was $3 and change, right? So that could be an important level of resistance, but I don't think it stopped there. But if your strategy is to buy and sell at important levels and then buy back and lower, potentially, right? Or there's an easier way to do it, which is you can take some profit and leave a certain percentage of your bags to see where it goes. So yeah, Real Ice Bear, agree on all the wave stuff. Very confusing. Yes, it is. When XRP runs, ADA tends to follow. Did you want to say something, Trip? You want to chime in?
Yeah, just like for ADA.
Uh-huh.
Actually, I forgot what I was going to say. Go on.
Okay,
I
I
had an
heard you. I
idea,
heard
but
you there. I was like, man, I want to let Trip chime in if he's chiming in. I'm just going down the comments here. Maybe it'll come back to you. When XRP runs, ADA runs. Well, basically, that's the flow of money, right? It's Bitcoin, Ethereum, high cap alts, mid cap alts, and then low cap alts, gaming, NFTs, and that's sort of like the flow of the money, right? So, Christina, we got questions about Richard Hart again and Pulse Chain. I really don't know what to think about this. I've listened to a lot of different opinions on it. I sort of looked into it, but then I decided it was not for me. I didn't go deeper into it. So I don't really have much an opinion. I don't know, Trip, if you have read up a lot about Pulse Chain or Richard Hart. I'm guessing not, because we didn't go over the chart. So sorry, Christine, I don't have much of an opinion on that for you, other than I haven't really been a part of that movement. I know there are people that pretty die hard about it, but yeah, strange stuff happens. I don't know what to tell you on that one, but Real Ice Bear, new to Telegram, just figured out how to even get it going and join the preview page. Okay, good. I've been getting this feedback from a lot of people that they really would like to learn how to trade, and to just check in with us daily, get those updates, get the news. And Telegram isn't really their thing. The reason we do it on Telegram is because it's actually very simple and easy to use, and it's much better than Discord, okay? And you can have it on your phone. So if you're out for the summer, you're out and about, you want to trade on your phone, you just want to get alerts on your phone, it is so great for that. So I know it might be hard, or you might not be used to it, but it's definitely worth it, and it's the best place to have it. You can also have it as a web app or just on your browser. So it's really easy to manage. But on that note, I will say we are going to launch a Patreon that's a little more cost effective, when actually our trading group is less than the price of a cup of coffee per day. So you make that back in one successful trade and so much more, right? But we're going to make the Patreon group that'll go live hopefully next week, where we'll be doing more like bite-sized content, keeping you up to date, potentially daily, maybe 3 to 5 times a week, with summaries on the charts, what we're looking at, key levels, etc. So if you're more of an email person, or you like to just like read blurbs and blog type format, we are launching that. And the price point will be around $40 a month. So would love to have you on board for that. And that's a similar thing, just a little bit less in depth and a little bit less into the daily trading strategies and more of the overall scope. But yeah, we'll have more information on that soon. Megan says it's a great group, well worth it. Much appreciated, Megan. And I love having women join the group, especially. That is so great to see. Everyone is obviously, I'd love to have you all on board, but especially women who just have the courage to dive in and get out there and just do this and take it by the horns, or anybody who's been thinking about it but hasn't really pulled the trigger. Now is the time, and we appreciate that feedback, right? We really do put a lot of effort into making this as value driven as possible for all of you. So yeah, I would encourage you just to download Telegram if you haven't, get a hang of it, and check out the preview channel. Jack, thanks, Trip. Solid trading advice. It absolutely is. It's Miyagi, Mr. Miyagi here in Trip form. DJ and Brian, Ben Cowan was talking about waves on Banter yesterday. Yeah, I saw he was on there talking about ETH maybe. Yeah, like Trip said, I would agree. I haven't ever really, it's just another tool to add to your toolbox, right? But you don't need to use all of them. I mean, certain traders use different indicators that they prefer, and they can sort of perfect to their strategy, and that's just that, right? So if he can use that to help him out and get the edge, that's great. You're moving away from Telegram. No, Real Ice Bear, we're on Telegram. Our trading group will stay on Telegram. We are just launching a Patreon in addition to Telegram that is more of like a bite-sized style content that you can get updates as well, but not like around the clock like the trading group. They're not focused on setups and trades. It's more macro outlook, investing. You will get a lot of the news that we post in the trading group. It's just a little bit of a different style, right? But the Telegram will be the trading group from now until the foreseeable future. That's where we're operating on. So it's just like different preferences, right? Do we have to use Blowfin? Well, I assume you're referring to leverage trading, 808 Mimis. Blowfin is one of the ones where you don't have to KYC, as far as I know, if you use Gmail, like Trip was saying. Trip, do you have any other advice on that? She's located in the US.
Yeah, Blowfin, you don't have to use a Gmail for that one. You may have to use a VPN though. But BidFi also has been getting a lot more volume, and they've been revamping their system. There's just a lot of things to offer on BidFi. So that's the other one that we've been using for a long time. The reason why I vet them so much is because it's been about probably 2 to 3 years that I've been using it. So they're always good with communication. Their team's always answering questions. They have a pretty good support team for our group as well. So, I mean, there's a ton of other exchanges to use. We just don't have that communication with them as much, right? They're not as close. So really, they're all pretty much the same type of exchange. We're pretty sure that they aggregate their trading from another exchange. Like they could be using Binance data, and that's what they're trading on their charts, because liquidity doesn't always match up with the order books on those exchanges. So you might have thin liquidity, and then you put an order in, and for some reason it doesn't seem to respect your order, or it's just weird. Like it's not like Binance where it's directly linked to the liquidity. The order books seem to be mirroring another exchange that's bigger. So they're all like this, like the BitTunics, Blowfin, Weeks. I'm sure there's a couple more like that. I can't remember the names right now, but it really isn't a whole lot of difference. They're all doing the same thing.
Yeah, and we do like to work with people that we just have a closer relationship with, because that way we get a premium experience for us and for our users, right? So I'm very trust-based and brand-based and reputation-based, right? I built my whole brand off, doing things that I have been able to talk to the team. I've been able to, understand what they're doing. Like that's how I've based my career, and I like to operate that way. So the ones that we do collaborations with is more because we've been able to sort of vet them a little bit more deeply than the rest and work with them on a longer term basis. So those are the ones that we're working with. We may add more in the near future. So yeah, Gary says, Trip, you need more monitors. Trip's got a pretty insane setup. I think Trip is pretty much set.
Yeah, I have 9 monitors. I actually have a whole separate computer system right beside me that I use for just doing other kinds of research and maybe some graphic design for the group for different kinds of posts or whatever. But yeah, pretty maxed out with what I have. I can see everything I need to see.
Yeah. And guys, get tools, get everything you need to like map this out. Do what you have to do to have like a very organized setup, whether you're investing, trading. I just invested in a whiteboard that's digital that you can just literally have as many boards as you want and just swipe to the next one, right? So I can have hundreds of whiteboards within one whiteboard that I just swipe along, and I can tap like right with my finger, right with like a stylus, whatever. So I'm a whiteboard person. I like to see it right in front of me on the wall, and that's how I operate. Do whatever you have to do to be successful and help you get that edge and be organized. So yeah, Realize Paris says also BitTunics in US. Yeah, we might have a look at them. Becker bought ADA, but just to make money on. I mean, hey, a lot of us are here to make money. I mean, that's the whole goal here, and the point is to get that financial freedom. Apart from the technology being absolutely profound and life-changing, right? There's so many elements to this that you don't have to be here for one reason or the other. And you could have began to come here for investing and stayed for all the amazing rest of the parts, which is the ethos, the decentralization, the freedom, the sovereignty, right? It all matters, and it's all kind of rolled into one. So whatever the reason may be, ADA will thrive. I'm confident in that, and that's why I'm a long-term holder. So yeah, antisocial maniac. Sometimes you're social and you say things that make me smile, like South Africa loves me. Thank you so much for these fun comments, and we like that you're social on our chat anyway, because we love to interact with you guys. Theta soon, let's freaking go. Yeah, so James, no VPN necessary on Blowfin. True. DJ and Brian, if you use a VPN on Hyperliquid, they're gonna kick you. Okay, yeah, sometimes that happens. So yeah, he says Megan, scary. I hope you're talking about Megan movie, Megan the movie. But so yeah. Hyperliquid might have to have a look at that one, because that one's been doing big things this cycle. And also, I just want to bring this to your attention, Bonk. I watched on Ivan on Tech stream earlier. I love Ivan on Tech. He's a colleague and a friend. And he's also Swedish like my husband, so it's fun. And he was saying that, the trifecta of Solana has been, like Sol, Bonk, and Fartcoin, I think he said. But Bonk is a launch pad, and it's using its revenue to buy back the token, and they've been doing phenomenal. I think Bonk is going to be one of those outliers this cycle, and it's overtaken Pump Fund, right, in volume. So really wanted to look at, and we nailed that setup in the group, by the way. And on that long tangent, Trip, I'll let you get back to BNB.
Yeah, BNB. So it made a new all-time high here. I think let's see, is that actually the last candle? Yeah. So all-time high was about 809. Just recently, actually, in the past day. So now, same thing. We're looking for a retest of this support level. That's at about $750, and we're already starting to see that pullback happen right now. So Pay attention to Bitcoin before you enter into this trade, though. You want to see that Bitcoin is going to bounce first, and ideally you'd like to see dominance start pulling back or retracing a little bit from its latest pump on the daily chart. But yeah, this is another one definitely to focus on. These targets that we have are more just short term. This is just trading the range from this high to this low, and then doubling that range up to this level here, up to $1,000. That's also going to be a psychological resistance level, in my opinion. A lot of people are probably going to be taking profit at that level when we get there. But there also could be a much bigger stretch to go. Like, I think this is a little early in the market for BNB to be making such a move. So I think we definitely could go higher, potentially even up to the 3.0, which would be about 1326. So we've got some distance, really, it's like I was saying, it's just too soon for it to be topping out, in my opinion. So definitely one to keep an eye on. If you get a chance to buy this retest, that could probably be your best entry for this setup.
Yeah, I think BNB is a massive sleeper. I mean, it's not ever on people's like my foundational pillars in my portfolio or whatever, but it is utility, and it's part of like the original core foundation of this movement. And I think it will continue to be an important coin going forward, right? So this chart really spells that out.
Right, yeah. So BNB's always been something that takes off and does very well during the bull markets anyways. It's always fairly steady. I mean, it's been in a range for quite a long time. Pretty much the range started back here in March 2024. So pretty much a full year that it's been trending mostly sideways. But once it breaks out of these ranges, it tends to take off pretty quickly. So same thing back here. You had a range from July of 2022 up until February of 2024. And then you had that explosive move that followed. So we're seeing the same thing happen. It's a very long range, and then you get that explosive move coming. So even still, based on this idea, you could see another maybe 6 month to a year range before it makes that next move. So it's a longer term trade. It's definitely something you got to be patient with. But overall, it seems to do very well during a bull run. I just definitely wouldn't put all of my money into this trade and hoping for just this one to take off. I think there's going to be a lot of other trades that are going to give bigger profits overall.
Yeah. So this is one of those sort of like longer term grinding up into the right kind of coins. BNB to 1,000. Yeah, DGen, 1,000 plus is in the cards according to the charts. They're setting up a BNB treasury. Yeah, they always continue to reinvent themselves. They've always managed to stay relevant and stay on trend. And CZ once back in before he was not part of Binance, was saying that he envisioned a future where all exchanges were decentralized, and that somehow Binance would reinvent itself and sort of like trend toward that. So it's really interesting to me. Let's see. Jack says that there's a Bonk Stadium. Where is that at? Karate Combat was just held there. That's really interesting. I would love to know where that Bonk Stadium is. Bonk is taking over, man. It's taken over. DC dude says, would love to see Trip do ZBCN next show. What is ZBCN? I'm not sure what that is. Let us know. Maybe we'll cover that, in another show. But for now, let's get back to these coins. Suie, let's go.
Yeah, Suie. So we broke out of this triangle recently, and we were testing this breakout entry at resistance, and we didn't quite get that break yet. So the plan B was to look for a pullback entry, just like we're focused on for a lot of the coins in this video, or this live, I should say. So this pullback right now, we're looking at a retest of this yellow trend line for the upper trend line of the triangle. Really, you don't want to see it come back inside of the pattern. There is a chance, though, that if we do get a quick move down, we could test that 200 MA again. But you really want to see it hold above the pattern, at least for a better confirmation. The breakout entry would be around $4.07, basically just $4, you could say. So I think definitely Suie's got some huge upside coming potential for this bull run. But the measured move that we're looking for, at least to the top of this range, is around $8.69. So that's already about a 100% move, going from $4 to $8. Suie looks good. I think it's pretty popular. A lot of people talk about it. When it gets going, as you look back here, it usually does a pretty good run after it leaves these consolidations. So definitely one to keep an eye on. Again, we just need to see a little more information on whether or not we're going to buy the pullback or if we're going to buy the breakout. And don't be afraid to do both. So maybe you buy a little bit down here and you wait to see what happens, and then you buy again on the breakout after that confirms.
All right. Yeah. So Suie is definitely going to be a phenomenal play this cycle. There's a lot of, I think, big VC money in it too. And it's actually hugely disrupting the L1 space. I think it's doing really well. So maybe we'll have to do just I'll have to do a whole Suie fundamentals video, but I think it's going to do very well this cycle as well.
Right. The next one we're going to look at, the last one, this is Doge, everyone's favorite meme coin. So we were watching for a retest entry, just like ADA, right? That same double bottom breakout, and now it's retesting this support level. We still, same thing, Bitcoin needs to be at least stable for this retest to confirm. Dominance would probably need to relax a little bit for this to really take off again. But we still have, again, another 6 hours or so for this retest to complete itself. So there's a little more time to watch. We really just want to see it hold above 25 cents, and then we can aim for the top of the range as our local max target, around 46 cents. But if we zoom out a little bit, I mean, there's potential here for this to be a whole big double bottom. So if we measure the move here with our fibs to find out what that measurement would be, then we're looking for around 85 cents at the 2.0 for Doge. So it's definitely got some big upside coming too. And as we've seen in the past, that once it starts going, you get some pretty straight parabolic moves that follow. And right now it's looking very similar. So just comparing this area, excuse me, let me grab a drink here.
Yeah, you guys know when Doge runs, it runs for sure.
Right. So yeah, same thing back here. You had a push higher and then a consolidation and a pullback, and then another push higher and a consolidation with a pullback. But every time it's starting to get more and more vertical. So we could be seeing something very similar now, and this is just another pullback before we continue higher like we've seen before.
All right, and just don't forget that date that we looked at, mid-August, for potential full-blown altcoin season, although we will be just paying attention to Bitcoin dominance to see maybe that comes sooner or comes later. But what I'm saying is it's all sort of lining up. We don't, like, it's not a cycle altcoin season without a Doge run, right? Like Doge will run, and it will run hard. But I'm also looking at Pengu to be a contender for the next important meme coin. It's been doing phenomenal lately. We also nailed that in the group. And Bonk is doing pretty well. So we're heating up, guys. That is the point. We are heating up. We need to get ready, pack the bags, zero in on those entries. Now we gave you some good strategies on this stream to be able to get position. A lot of these we'll know more about within the next 12 hours, definitely by tomorrow's stream. So do be sure, if you got here late, to rewatch this all and make sure you understand what we've gone through and you have your positions and strategies ready. So DC Dude says it's Zebek, the future of payroll. Rumor is they have some association of Ripple, former CFO of ADP, largest payroll company, joined the team. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. I mean, all the things in the institutional space, adoption, payments, payment rails, that's going to be huge. And that's why I'm so excited about HBAR too. So yeah, just going to read some last comments here. Jack, I'd love Trip to discuss time zones. What's different and the same versus last cycle? Is it reasonable to expect the same top performers as last cycle? We actually did do sort of a master class last Friday, Zach. I can't remember if you were here or not. And we sort of went over, well, Trip gave us a little bit of his special sauce, and we were mapping out some like time-based fib stuff and to see when we could get some next important dates. Could this cycle run longer? So the 4-year cycle theory says buy 6 months before the halving, sell 18 months after, more or less, right? So that's what has been traditionally the case. And usually we get the Bitcoin tops around October, November, but potentially this season could be looking a little bit different as we extend out further into 2026. So when we get to that point, we'll be looking at a lot of different indicators, which we also went over yesterday, but we can wrap that all into a strategy session, which will be just pure strategy. So I'll take that into consideration for that video also. Thanks, Megan and Trip. Off to the prep meeting. All right, Realize Bear, skull to you. Just curious, any thoughts on Turbo Coin for a longer run? Look, memes seem to be heating up right now, and Turbo, we had a setup for that in the group. Like we nailed it on the last big run, and that one seems to run hard when it does run. We are looking at that. DC Dude, I kick myself daily for not buying Pengu when I first heard about it from you. All right, y'all nailed it. Well, thanks for that shout out. We nailed that run, and potentially it's going to keep going from here, right? So we'll be updating Pengu in the group. So yeah, Trip, do you have any thoughts on any of these comments or final thoughts to summarize today's sort of analysis?
Yeah, well, he was asking about is it reasonable to see the same top performers? I don't think it's going to be the same really at all, just because a lot of the coins from back in the day have now grown in market cap. So the way it works really is that your mid caps to small caps are always going to outperform the large caps because they have a lot more room to grow. You're going to make a lot more profit in something going from $1 million market cap up to $100 million market cap. That's 100x. And it's a lot harder for it to go from $1 billion market cap to $100 billion market cap. So really, it's just market cap size alone is going to determine the better performers percentage wise.
Yeah. And I think he's also referring to like cycle top indicators, right? So times in the market when we could see those, what would they be? How would we know? Obviously, if you're in the group, you'll be updated on this in real time. If you're sort of trying to do this on your own or tune in, you know, like all of the biggest macro indicators are still a thing, but none of them seem to be pointing that we're anywhere close to like final blow off top yet, as far as I'm aware of. Trip, what do you think? Should we make like a little masterclass on this and sort of map out all that stuff on one of our strategy videos?
Yeah, I'd like to cover Bitcoin from maybe a couple of years ago to say where I thought we were going, and then to show where we are now. And then I'd also probably be showing how I measured the cycles last time and how I applied it to this current cycle and how it doesn't actually line up the same as it did the previous two cycles. So there is a bit of a difference. And that's what's made me take a step back and say, okay, this is different. So yeah, we can go into that next time for sure.
Yeah, we'll definitely map out a whole video just on that. We must be prepared. Gary, what time tomorrow? So we will be doing 12 Eastern, 12 noon EST, 9 a.m. PST tomorrow. So we'll set that now. Sorry, guys, we've been a little bit like, you know, changing dates, times, because we're all in different time zones. We're going to try to stick to that one. Seems to be a good one for a lot of people. So that'll be our time tomorrow. And finally, James, what about Pogs? Hey, I'm a Pogs lover. I just think that is the perfect catalyst for newcomers who, you know, nostalgia, all the people who are my age who remember that when they were kids in the 90s and stuff. So they just actually bridged to Ape Chain and brought a lot of their volume to Ape Chain. So they're getting a lot of support from the Ape community, which is a big deal for them because they need to get more community and more presence out there and just a larger reach. So I think that'll be really good for them long term. And I do still talk to Kyler, who's the co-founder, who's phenomenal. Very smart guy, ex-Rivian, right? So yeah. Pogs, I think will have they'll have their day in the sun, and you know, gaming and NFTs and all that is usually the last on the tail, right, of end of the cycle to pop in a hard way. So let's see if that plays out this cycle again the same way. But I definitely believe gaming will come raging back, and Pogs is sort of potentially in that category, right? Gaming, meme, it's sort of everything in one utility. So yeah, very excited about that. And on that note, guys, we've gone over the hour, but there's just so much incredible things to talk about, and we just love having these conversations with you so much and engaging with you. Congratulations, guy. You made it through another day. Go through this on repeat if you need to. Get your whiteboards out, strategize on how to win and crush it in these markets. And we'll be back for more tomorrow. Okay, so Trip, thank you so much for guiding us through once again, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
No worries. Thank you.